This is a soft brown shade, which I use mainly for my transition color or to blend out a darker color in the crease. This is one of the more warm-toned eyeshadows. Next we have a light beige shade. This would be a good highlight shade, and it looks very similar to the color next to it, but when I swatch them, I think you will see a slight difference. This one is a bit deeper and has more of a grayish tone, and it appears it's difficult to see. It is almost my skin tone. When I get closer, you will get a better look, I think. This next shade is a slightly lighter version of that same color. It translates better in a swatch as opposed to in the pan. As you can see, it is significantly lighter. I hope you can see that. In the pan, it looks almost identical. I use this shade for highlighting most days. Sometimes I'll mix it with the white or use the white, but it really depends. This is, I think, a perfect shade for my skin tone. Next, we are swatching the white shade, which is just a matte white. I think everybody needs a matte white in their collection. Just a great color, not chalky at all. Very, very soft and easy to work with. Moving on to the second row, we have this deep chocolate brown. This is the darkest brown in the palette. It does lean warm, but more neutral. You could use this with a lot of colors, but this is one of the more warm to neutral shades. Very nice matte shade. They're all very nice matte shades, but this is just... my brush is coming off. So there's that. Very consistent across the board. These are very nice. Consistent shadows. I always know what I'm getting with the shadow. This next color is a terracotta shade. Very flower pot. This is probably my favorite shade in the palette. I love a warm orangey brown. Similar to MAC's Brick Red, if you're familiar with that. Or Brown Script, or not so much Red Brick, but Brown Script. This is a great alternative to that. I love this shade so much. I usually start off with this softer brown color and then move on to this one. That is like my standard go-to. Moving on, we have a darker but also very warm version of that last shade. Pick up a lot. The colors you can easily build up to make them appear just like you see them in the pans, so you are able to shear them out more or build them up depending on the brush you use or the amount of times you go over it or the amount of product you have, which is great. This is something I have in my pro kit as well. I love the Viseart eyeshadows. They're just very consistent and reliable, and I know what I'm getting every time. I'm gonna move my arm up a little bit, and then moving into this shade on the end. This is what I would consider a milk chocolate color. It is a lighter, more neutral. You see where I'm coming from, warm to neutral. And into cool, this is the most neutral brown, I would say. But you can lean it warm, lean it cool, depending on what colors you pair it with. use more so, just depending on the color. You know, it all depends on the what kind of look you're going for, but just a great alternative, and it's right in the balance. So, you know, you have the color anyway. You just really need to decide what's best for you and the look that you're doing. And last but not least, we have another taupe shade. This is more brown. This is one of the cooler shades, in my opinion. I would not use this with warmer colors. This is a great cool brown, which you don't really see often. A lot of brown eyeshadows I see are very, very warm. So